Today, the garage is empty and a mess because the Turbo BEAMS AE86 is in the trailer. We are finally going to get dyno tuned. We're all ready.
I took the car to Black Market Racing where my friend Neil works. This is him driving my car into the shop to get it strapped down to the dyno. He drifts a 6 Zafiro here in Arizona and is a member of the Gaijin Smash Drift team. So BMR works on and tunes a myriad of cars, not just Japanese cars. Neil's little section here kind of reminds me of a shop tree out of Japan, which fits because, well, he lived in Okinawa for a while. But there are crazy supercharged and turbocharged V8 cars over here, and I've also seen some insane R34 GTRs here hanging out before. Before dialing in boost, fuel, and timing for the turbo, their tuner was working through some idle issues that I've been having, and just giving the previous tune a once-over since it was set up for a supercharger and not a turbocharger. And this involved just letting the car run on the dyno while they made the changes and adjusted some of the mapping. After dialing in the base settings, they make a couple of pulls to test it out before increasing RPM with each pull, making more adjustments, and then rounding out the tune with wide open throttle tuning.
There's a little bit of smoke from the exhaust at idle once it's warmed up and on decel, so I've got my fingers crossed this valve seals and nothing crazy like I messed up my oil drain tube or something, but oh, I don't know, we're just gonna run it and see what happens. There we go. Max power, 340, what do you say, 340, 341? 340. And max torque, 250. Dude. Awesome. So we ran into a little bit of a boost creep issue, so we ended up having to limit the RPM to 7,600. We can't even rev the normal 8,000, 8,200 that I normally rev these engines to. And we limited the RPM so we could keep boost at 10 PSI, which is 2 PSI more than I meant to do. I meant to keep it at 8, but we're just gonna keep it here. So it's making 340 horsepower and 250 foot-pounds of torque on 10 PSI at 7,600 RPM on pump gas. I expected maybe 300. To hit 340 over, I was 5 PSI at 250 horsepower on pump gas on this Blitz Supercharger. This is nuts, dude. This is gonna be a completely different animal. I don't even know if my clutch is gonna hold up. I couldn't help but take the car for a little test rip when I unloaded it from the trailer, and dude, this car is fast now. I mean, it was pretty quick before, but this is insane. Right, so I took the car apart a little bit to see if I could figure out where my boost creep issue is coming from. Got my wastegate sitting here on the table. I took it apart, made sure it wasn't sticking or anything like that. And then I was looking at the manifold design a bit and trying to see if I could figure out why it's having some boost creep things and see if I could fix it. I reached out to a couple of pros in the industry, like my buddy Sheldon over at Mara Sport, and kind of picked his brain since he's built a lot of cars over the years and fabricated some incredible stuff. He had some ideas on how I might have to change some of the wastegate routing. The packaging of this manifold and on this engine makes it really tight for how you position the wastegate, and so I might have to get creative on that. And if I can change the pipe and the port where it attaches to the manifold, it can prevent some boost creep or help eliminate some of that. And what I'm talking about when it comes to wastegate routing is that the exhaust gases kind of have to do a 180 before they can exit the manifold or exit through the wastegate. And so that might be what's going on here. I'm trying to show you, there's the collector there where everything goes up into the turbo, and yet the wastegate is pointing down. See what I mean? Now, I did reach out to some other people that also run the Surfab manifold, and they don't tend to have boost creep issues, and they're running the same size wastegate as me, a 44, 45 millimeter wastegate, although mine is from Pulsar, theirs is from Tile or from Garrett. So I asked around a little bit, and that was kind of some of the things. Like, well, it doesn't seem to be necessarily wastegate related. However, the difference in my setup is that I have a larger turbo. This is the G30-660. They're running essentially the equivalent of the G25-660, and that doesn't seem to have boost creep issues. The tuner and a couple of the guys think I should be safe to run it at the 7,600 RPM at 10 PSI and be just fine. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to run it at this, and then later I'm going to go back and reevaluate. Now, the 340 wheel horsepower and 250 foot-pounds of torque on pump gas really does blow my mind. I've built a lot of cars over the years as well, but mostly, like back in the day, it was turbo Subarus and Evos. And so to have that kind of power on pump gas on 10 PSI on a naturally aspirated, normally naturally aspirated engine added a turbo to, really does, like, that surprises me. And I've seen some dyno sheets where people are claiming over 400 wheel horsepower on ethanol with a turbo BEAMS, and I could not believe it. However, now I'm starting to second guess that. I'm thinking that might be possible. So I'm running 10 PSI right now. I would like to bring it back down. I'm gonna see about maybe changing that wastegate pipe a little bit, see if I can change the flow a little bit so it can better manage. I also might bump up the wastegate size to a 50 millimeter instead of the 45. That could also help as well. So we're gonna see if we can address those after the next couple of events. And then maybe we go back for ethanol and see what kind of numbers we can hit. That would be rad. And of course, after running on ethanol, I have this spare engine here that I would like to build and see how much power we can really pump out of this thing reliably. After I build the SR for my 240. And while this video is not sponsored or partnered with BMR, with Black Market Racing, I just got to give a huge shout out to Jeremy there, the tuner. Awesome dude. He sat there and answered all my questions. He also picked my brain of how I wanted to make the power, where I wanted to set my limitations at, all this stuff. And it was really cool. Such a great experience. So if you're looking to get your car tuned in the Arizona area, I can't tell you how reliable the tune is long term, but I can tell you that the overall experience was great, and I do feel confident about the tuning. I've seen some other much more expensive cars and much crazier setups come out of BMR, so I feel pretty good about my choice to take my drift car there. The next couple of videos, I should hopefully be drifting this car. I've got Fuel Fest and I've got Southwest Speed Fest coming up in the next couple of months, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll check out how this car does drifting soon in just a couple of weeks at Fuel Fest, Arizona. Thanks for watching and see you next time.